I don't even want to try to compare my character with Ripley. That's the way forward. Absolutely, unequivocally, 100%. That is the correct take to have with Alien Earth. Good. So we've got some new images and we've got some new details. The images are very interesting. Some not so interesting at all, actually. But one is very, very interesting with respect to Alien Earth. So we're going to dive into this today. Please do hit subscribe. Turn those bell notifications on. When it comes to Alien, you guys know I love it here. Clearly, obviously. Love to cover it. So if you want to stay up to date on Alien, I'm the place to go. Anyway, let's take a look at this. So this is an Entertainment Weekly piece. I say stay up to date on it. I'm a little bit behind on this, absolutely. But forgive me, I have been doing a master's degree. So Entertainment Weekly have this as a title, a headline. Alien Earth star intros the new lead. I don't even want to try to compare my character with Ripley. Exclusive. Sydney Chandler takes the reins of the Alien TV series as Wendy, who is a hybrid. Now this actually confirms what I've been saying for quite some time. A child whose brain has been infused into a robot's body. So she's child brain in an adult's body, an adult robot's body. And it relates to one of the other characters because she is the younger sister of one of the other characters. I think he plays a medic, actually. So I'm glad that that's now confirmed and it's out in the open. So Sydney Chandler knows she's impulsive at times, but in the case of Alien Earth, it landed her the job. Okay, interesting. So the actress previously seen in the film Don't Worry Darling and the FX miniseries Pistol got her hands on the script for the Noah Hawley TV series based on the world of the Ridley Scott horror films. Her father, actor Carl Chandler, who did Friday Night Lights, is the resident World War II buff of her family, and her mother, Catherine, is a history nerd. But Chandler, 29, has always been the sci-fi fan with her nose in some kind of genre novel. She heard Hawley, who was busy with FX's Fargo, was filming in Canada. So as soon as she finished reading the script at 2 a.m, one early morning, she booked a flight to go find him that very day. I called my agent and I was like, where's Noah in Canada? And do you think there's any possibility he would let me take him to dinner so I can talk to him about this show? Chandler tells Entertainment Weekly. Noah, for some reason, said yes. We chatted for a really long time about story and character and why I felt so drawn to this Wendy character. That is actually quite an interesting story, to be honest. Sure beats the normal drivel that we get where they're like, oh, they just was cast as the best person, even though you clearly know that they probably weren't the best person. It was some kind of weird diversity hire, which is, again, 9 times out of 10 normally the case. So that's quite an interesting story. So audiences will meet Wendy on Alien Earth in the timeline of 2120, just a few years before the launch of the US CSS Nostromo spaceship from the 1979 Alien. In this not-so-distant future reality that's full of synthetic humanoid robot, or synthetics, humanoid robots with AI, and cyborgs, humans with artificially enhanced body parts, Wendy is a hybrid, which is a robot infused with human consciousness. More specifically, she has a child's brain in a bot's body. So again, just confirming stuff which I previously said before. I think it's interesting having this like cyborg element to the Alien universe. I don't hate it. Fine. I think it's quite interesting. Now this is the image that I really found like amazing, actually. So this is Timothy Oliphant as Kirsch in Alien Earth. I mean, that there's an alien of some description. That is something in a test tube, isn't it? Right? What is that? Like what is that? I'm intrigued. Colour me intrigued. Some weird tentacled thing. I do like how this test tube, let me shrink it back down again. This test tube is effectively like the same kind of test tube holding a container that they had for the facehuggers in Aliens. Just what looks like a bigger version of it. Although actually it might be perspective. Because I can't quite tell if he's in front of it or not. It might be that actually... no, I think... I don't know, actually. I can't tell if he's behind it and this is a smaller perspective. I don't know. He might be the he might be the background. This might be the foreground, so it might be a small thing. Huh. Interesting. Anyway, still fascinating. I love this image. I think there's a lot here. Clearly, science, lab, some weird specimen. So Prodigy, one of the 5 corporations that now govern the entire world, Weyland-Yutani, Lynch, Dynamic, and Threshold are the others, is the IP owner of hybrids, including Wendy. Hawley further describes his vision of Earth in a separate interview with Entertainment Weekly. He said the following: let's just say the climate predictions are coming true. It's a hotter, wetter planet. If we just extrapolate where we are now, it's driven much more by corporations than democracies. It's very much wrapped up in a competition for technological superiority. The nature of power is, in the end, there can be only one. So we're in the middle of a battle on that level for who has the power in the human race. I think that's fascinating. And because this is a retcon, it would seemingly indicate Weyland-Yutani won. So Wendy and the hybrids play into that power struggle, but she physically gets in on the action when a Weyland-Yutani spaceship crash lands in Prodigy City. She and her fellow hybrids are sent to investigate the site, leading to the encounter with mysterious life forms. So multiple, including one ferocious xenomorph. Amazing. We started working with the mechanics of how these kids would move physically, and Noah took us more into the mindset space, Chandler says, of stepping into her role as a hybrid. What is the essence of a kid or a young adult? How do their minds work differently than the adult mind? Kids are so present, and they haven't been battered by the world as much as an adult, so they trust their gut, and they don't second guess. They're not really present, to be fair. But okay. So Timothy Oliphant, who worked with Hawley on Fargo, also comes into Wendy's orbit as Kirsch. Hawley declines to divulge much about the character, other than to say the look was his idea. That's cool. I'm presuming he's going to be, I don't know, maybe a bit like Rutger Hauer in Blade Runner. A bit that, maybe, who knows. So Hawley continues, says, it's a very different role for him, but it does play on something that I find so exciting about him as an actor, which is he lives in that space between hero and villain in a really interesting way. Yeah, I think they're going with that kind of vibe. When he's playing the hero side of it, he's the best guy to strap on a gun and go to high noon. Babu Sise, known in the US for Free Fire and Killer Heart, plays another mystery character. He's definitely related to how the creatures come to this world. This character, we know who he is. They showed it in some trailers. He's the synthetic aboard the US CSS Maginot, the Weyland-Yutani Maginot deep spaceship. And they even showed him like not letting a humanoid into the control room and letting her get killed by the xenomorph. So we know who he is. That's weird, but okay. But in the franchise's grand tradition of fierce sci-fi heroines, first established by Sigourney Weaver with Ripley, Chandler's Wendy remains at the forefront of what Hawley describes as a very big, oversized, dramatic story. Interesting. So he says, I don't even want to try to compare my character with Ripley, Chandler remarks. That's just impossible to do, but I hope people like Wendy as much as I love her. She's my favourite character that I've ever been able to play. Hawley continues further and says, I feel like the Alien franchise has a female identity, both with Ripley's character in the films, and then, of course, the fact that the aliens themselves are matriarchal. They have a queen. It feels very much like a female-focused show. Sydney's character is someone who's trying to figure out what her role in this world and what her role is in this world. And on some level, the age-old question of, does humanity deserve to survive? Now, this is interesting. I like this part. Does humanity deserve to survive? One of the most memorable moments from 1986's Aliens for Hawley is Weaver's line, I don't know which species is worse, you don't see them fucking each other over for a goddamn percentage. This idea of horrible things that we do to each other, Hawley continues. Sydney plays a somewhat innocent character who finds herself trying to navigate two kinds of monsters. One is human, and the other is from outer space. We do expand on that idea that it's going to be up to the audience which species is worse. That's interesting. I mean, it's coming out very soon now. I mean, I say very soon. Kind of soon. But this is fascinating stuff. This, does humanity deserve to survive? I love that. That is the quote that'll be in the headline, the title of this video. There's a really interesting interview. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Drop it down below. Take care. Bye-bye now.